and he talked about it. He said, I don't want to do an exhibition against Floyd Mayweather. He said, I'm only doing real fights. Now, of course, I can't get up high in weight, but I'll fight him in a real fight at the weight that I'm at. But
Floyd Mayweather has dropped another bombshell after calling out Terence Crawford to abandon his fight with Canelo Alvarez and fight him instead. That will be nothing more than an exhibition fight, but I doubt if Floyd Mayweather is aware of that. The fight gives Terence Crawford and adds no prestige to his impressive boxing record. It does nothing to his journey to the International Boxing Hall of Fame glory. At best, it's a quick and easy platform to make money for the former undisputed world welterweight champion.
But one thing I like about him, one thing I do like about him, he's selling it. He's selling it, and he's making good money, and he's entertaining. I like it.
Is he, and Floyd,
is up, bro. Keep it a stack. Did you in your head size up Floyd? Like, was, you know what I'm saying? If we was ever, keep it real, boss. Keep it real.
I'm never that type of.
For some reason, the boxing legend feels he and Crawford will make more money than Canelo and Crawford. The essence of this for Floyd was to finally put an end to the debate of who's the better fighter between him and Terence Crawford, seeing Terence Crawford as the only boxer that has the closest boxing record to Floyd Mayweather, which has sparked several debates in the past regarding who's the greatest boxer of all time. Well, maybe the fight will eventually happen, but it may be too soon, seeing Crawford is still active and chasing greatness. The super middleweight champion did so much to land this fight against Canelo, and it's unlikely he'll be willing to let it go.
Shit, always been happy for him, been a fan of his, and I never imagined us fighting. Yeah. I never looked at him like.
Severally, boxing fans have severally drawn comparisons between Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Terence Crawford. Bud refused to deprive the 50-0 boxing champion of his rightful honors. Terence Crawford appreciates Floyd Mayweather, and when he was asked about their similarities, he had a few more things to say as well. Crawford praised and acknowledged Floyd's greatness and called him the king.
Oh, hit and not get hit, to make the adjustments that he's made to certain fighters. You know, he's
the pound for pound top fighter in boxing right now is Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford, I just truly believe he doesn't have to be under my company for me to give a guy props. I'm not like that. You know, if he's ever free.
He then continued highlighting that they have quite a lot in common in some aspects, but they're a little different because Crawford feels he takes more chances. Earlier in his career, he was taking a lot of chances in his career as well. He largely feels it depends on which Floyd Mayweather we're talking about. When one's talking about money or you're talking about Pretty Boy, because Pretty Boy was the seeking destroyer, then he started having hand injuries, so he couldn't really keep up with the same power. And he was moving up and fighting bigger.
Both boxing. I think, you know, I take more chances.
Excuse me, Crawford.
You know, right now. But earlier in his career, he was taking a lot of chances as well. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it just...
Like Crawford said, they have quite a lot in common. However, boxing fans and supporters have compared both fighters to discover the better fighter. And when they did, a news source put Crawford as the likely winner of a fight between the two fighters. When it comes to pure boxing ability, you'd be hard-pressed to find another producer of more sweet science masterclasses than Floyd Mayweather Jr.
It depends on which Floyd Mayweather you talk about. Do you talk about money or do you talk about Pretty Boy? Because Pretty Boy was the seek and destroy fighter.
Free, and he's going to go to any company. If he's a free agent, I would love to work with him if he's free. Because I know that what I can do to take him to that next level. Because with Jim saying raw talent, hell of a fighter. There's a lot of hell of a fighters out there.
The crisp jab, precision, timing, and counterpunching ability all empowered Mayweather to pick his long list of opponents apart. And he did it over 2 iterations of himself.
He's going to reach from the left hooks again. And the lightning hand speed extraordinary. Left hook drops him. And then he hit his head off the miss here at the engine.
Just as Crawford said, Pretty Boy Floyd was the more aggressive boxer, bringing the fight to opponents, while Money Mayweather years later would compute and edge opponents out with brilliant boxing. Whichever style you prefer, both bodies of work made the legend that is Floyd Mayweather Jr. Comparatively, boxing fans are still in awe of what Crawford did to Spence in his last fight.
Larry Holmes.
Defensive work.
Pernell Whitaker.
Chin.
Whether it was a power jab that he repeatedly snapped through Spence's guard, punching in traffic, or the timing of his counterpunches, Bud exhibited supreme boxing ability. And it wasn't the first time, but we've never seen it like that against a fighter of Spence's caliber. When talking about pure boxing ability, arguably nobody should get a push over Mayweather, but Crawford's style of boxing is different, yet effective, even explosive, in his own right. So how would their boxing stack up if Crawford would fight Mayweather in his prime and use his lasering shots against Mayweather's disciplined sweet science? Who would assert the jab first? Who would be the more effective counterpuncher?
Footwork.
There are so many ways to see this play out that it might be best to declare this category a draw. How many times have we witnessed Mayweather lull and eventually lure his opponents to the middle of the ring where he computed information, analyzed it, and uploaded a blueprint to pick his opponents apart? Mayweather took his ring IQ and mantra of hit and not get hit and essentially rode it to the Hall of Fame as an undefeated 5-division world champion. Crawford, in being crowned undisputed at junior welterweight and now welterweight, has shown a high ring IQ himself throughout his career. Mayweather demonstrated hand speed, especially on the counterpunching end, but Crawford's slashing angles and whiplashing delivery has Bud owning the advantage in speed.
Boxing IQ.
Floyd Mayweather.
Legacy.
It's more than one.
Of Mayweather's 50 wins, 27 came by way of knockout. That's in comparison to Crawford's 40 wins, 31 of them coming via knockout, and he's still active. Now, re-enter Crawford's wizardry over Spence, dropping him 3 times en route to a dominant 9th round TKO, decimating a power-punching, body-snatching fighter like Spence, who systematically broke down Kell Brook, Sean Porter, and Yordenis Ugas to become the unified world welterweight champion, was anything but easy. Yet Crawford made it look easy, and his power was a big reason why. Mayweather painted in the corner, raising that shoulder into the Philly shell, and absorbing shots with his arm while using his free hand to pick his punches was defensive boxing, turned counter-punching at its very finest.
Look at this Spence, unbelievable. To young boxing fans that are watching Floyd Mayweather, you're seeing one of the greatest defensive fighter of all time. I mean, that's how strong.
Everywhere and then he's nowhere. You think you can...
And again, it's not just hand quickness.
Crawford has some slick defense to him as well. But Mayweather took defensive boxing skills to another level of damn near perfection. All dreamt up, how would Crawford against a prime Mayweather fight actually go? And who would win? After a tense first round where each boxer is trying to feel out the other, we see Crawford being the more active and busy fighter early on, launching and landing shots, even if many of them are absorbed by Mayweather's shoulder and elbow. By the middle rounds, Mayweather's style would set in, as he'd pepper Crawford with jabs, banking some rounds.
It's the movement of the head, the way he rolls with punches. Look at the way he makes them miss. I mean, here we go. Through a series of punches and nothing really landed. Terrific fighter for Mayweather. Oh!
Yet, with a constant flow of pressure, Crawford's firepower could get to Mayweather, even enough to hurt the legend at times. As close as we see this one being, Crawford's fighting ability and those whiplashing punches might be just enough to have judges credit him on his pressure and volume en route to a points win over Mayweather's brand of boxing.
With Canelo, they
want to see it. Crawford cares about his life, and with that fight, what do that fight do for Canelo? Fighting Crawford, and Crawford beats Canelo. What do that do for Canelo? I just think that there are so many other fights to make that's realistic and makes sense, and less life risking on top of the risk that we risk stepping in there with guys our weight.
Terence Crawford, a 4-division world champion, has expressed his interest in facing Canelo, the reigning super middleweight king. However, the weight disparity between the two poses a significant challenge for the American fighter.
Boot time to take over and start beating the guys around him, prove that he's the best of that group. Bud is in a group above him. Bud don't need to come back down to 47 to meet him. That's crazy.
Former heavyweight champion Rones Jr. shared his perspective on the clash between Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. While praising Crawford's talent and skills, the legendary boxer leaned toward Canelo as the favorite. The former champion emphasized the importance of Canelo's punching power as a decisive factor in the fight.
Yeah, because a lot of people are saying like, hey, forget about Canelo. That was a tough fight with Madrimov. Go ahead and give Boots a shot. You give Boots the chance. But Eddie's saying, hey, I think Crawford's saying, hey, give me the Canelo fight or I'm not fighting. I'm done.
Why? What he got to prove to Boots? Boots trying to take over, start beating the guys around him.
His analysis underscores Crawford's need to neutralize Canelo's renowned power. If Crawford can impose his technical boxing skills and avoid Canelo's devastating punches, he could stand a chance of pulling off a historic upset. While the potential fight between Canelo and Crawford remains a dream scenario for fans, Canelo Alvarez is currently focused on preparing for his next bout.
Beating the guys around him, prove that he's the best of that group. Bud is in a group above him. Bud don't need to come back down to 47 to meet him. That's crazy. Why would he? Bud looking to try to make history and get out. Get his big bank and get out. His big bank is who? Canelo. He willing to take that gamble, see if he can beat him. If he beats him, he may go fight Benavidez next. If he don't beat him, he say, okay, I took it as high as I could go. I'm done.
And now you want me to do something. Canelo's not coming down to 60.
No. It's Crawford who wants it. He wants the chance to prove it. He's the best.
I get it.
This era.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Right.
And and again, that's one of what's happening on a shakeup of the new world order, where you got fighters that's really 54 at best.
International Boxing Federation interim champion William Skull has been mentioned as a possible opponent. This wasn't always the case for Roy Jones Jr. though. The Hall of Fame fighter and current promoter, trainer, and respected analyst Roy Jones Jr. had earlier shared scenarios in which he sees both Terence Crawford and David Benavidez beating Alvarez, before going against his former prediction.
A little big for Crawford, I'm not sure about that because Crawford does have punching power and shock, but I think Canelo's a little big. He showed tonight that he's pretty big, so I probably would rather see.
The two-time 168-pound titleist Benavidez has been pounding the table for a crack at Alvarez over the last 2 years. Formerly recognized as the best welterweight in the world, Crawford is open to moving up 2 weight classes for the chance at clashing with the Mexican star. Alvarez, meanwhile, maintains that a win against Crawford would do little for his legacy, even though many are giving Crawford a real chance to score the win.
Charlo fight Crawford first, and then see how that goes. If he does good against Charlo with the weight, then let's see him come up and fight Canelo. Yes, but not right now. I want to see Crawford come up with some weight classes and show he can be dominant at 54. You understand me?
That fight was done, Crawford and
Crawford won a pound best fighter fight.
To take on a Canelo who can actually fight a cruiserweight and maybe give a cruiserweight, especially at this moment, all the hell they can want. If you can't hurt a guy like Canelo, and you don't have height and depth to be able to at least have something to work with, then we're going to see another, what they say, boring fight, not say a smart fight.
Jones, who fluctuated in weight during the latter half of his career as a 4-division title holder, said Alvarez should continue his career moving forward at super middleweight.
Being that you obviously, again, appealing Team Crawford, can you confirm? Are we going to see that fight? Has it been made official? Is it official?
It's on, baby. September 13, baby. Look forward to it. Crawford versus Canelo. Listen how I said it.
Hey, are we getting this confirmation here first?
You understand? Yeah.
Last year, Canelo Alvarez fought on September 14th around the Mexican Independence Day, and it's only normal that his annual September fight comes up on September 13th this year. It's been reported that the Mexican champion has booked the T-Mobile Arena for September 13th this year as he looks set to take on Terence "Bud" Crawford on the said that just about a year after his fight against Edgar Berlanga at the same location, a fight that clashed with the UFC Noche.
No, you never know in boxing. I'll go up and down and fight everybody out there. So it's possible. Why not?
Canelo Alvarez has been rumored to take on Terence Crawford in a potential super fight later in 2025. The Mexican pugilist is a boxing icon and has had an illustrious career. Both him and Crawford are two of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world at the moment, and a showdown between them would be a spectacle. Canelo Alvarez might be getting older, but age hasn't done anything to slow down his momentum and status as the face of boxing. Boxing fans haven't been overly pleased with his opponent choices in recent years, with many claiming he's avoiding the very best, like David Benavidez.
I understand the money grab. I understand it's about the bag. Crawford ain't 26. Another major network is saying they packing their bags up. You're gonna see a lot of desperate moves jumping off. You're gonna see a lot of very unrealistic, unorthodox, crazy thinking, crazy gossip.
Being that you obviously, again, appealing team Crawford, can you confirm? Are we going to see that fight? Has it been made official? Is it official?
It's on, baby. September 13, baby. Look forward to it. Crawford versus Canelo.
Who heard it?
Listen how I said it.
Hey, are we getting
Crawford
this confirmation here
Canelo.
first?
You understand? Yeah, it's confirmed. Man, what?
Say less.
Crawford versus Canelo, not the other way around. Team Crawford stand up, pound for pound, the best in the world, soon to be the super.
Despite that, Alvarez has continued to sell out every arena he fights at, regardless of opponent. The same will happen later this year, as a much-anticipated bout against Terence Crawford has been all but finalized. Everything points to that fight happening on September 13th at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. But will Canelo be out of action for that long? It's unlikely, and Boxing Scene may have uncovered the date and location of his next fight. Boxing Scene learned Thursday that 4 fight cards are reserved on the Strip for March 22nd, March 29th, April 5th, and May 3rd, the last of which is a great unknown for now.
I respect Crawford. He's a great fighter, and I always say that. No disrespect him, but sometimes it's a little crazy that people talking about a small fighter like Charlo. He's big.
For Canelo, that May 3rd date is obviously the one to keep an eye on. Canelo has fought on the weekend of Cinco de Mayo every year since 2019, excluding the COVID year in 2020. 3 of those 5 fights came at the T-Mobile Arena, so we can definitely connect the dots. It's not a sure thing though, given how important the fight against Crawford is. Alvarez could choose to take more time off and keep his body fresh, but he doesn't like to take too much rest time if his past history is anything to go by. As for who he would fight, William Skull appears to be the main option. The IBF super middleweight champion has been in talks with Canelo's team since the beginning of the year.
He's big, and everybody's talking about if I'm gonna face Crawford, fighter 147, who is smaller than Charlo. So no make sense when you guys say that right now. At the end of the day, I don't want to have credit.
Canelo, though, is now 34 years old. While he has shown no signs of slowing down, he is arguably nearing the end of his career. In a recent chat with Ring Magazine, Canelo revealed when he might consider hanging up the gloves. He said, admitting that he doesn't know, but also accepting that he's getting closer to retirement, obviously. But he believes he's feeling great, better than ever, as he has shown countless times in the ring. But maybe at 38? Yeah, he thinks 38 would be the perfect time to start thinking about retirement. He further added that he has had difficult fights and ones he didn't need in those moments. He has taken risks for his whole career. Clearly, he really loves the challenges and what he does, and he tries to show everybody how good he is. He claims he loves to go up and down in weight, and he really never looks at his record and says, I did this. Rather, his trainer always talks about it, and he always shows him the things he has done, all the world champions, and it's very impressive.
Has named you and Terence Crawford as one of the top 5 fights that he wants to see this year. Is that a fight that you're considering now?
We'll see. We'll see. Everything is possible. We'll see. We want to talk about it, sit down really well, and figure out something.
Canelo Alvarez last beat Edgar Berlanga back in September 2024, reports suggest his rumored bout against Terence Crawford is close to becoming a reality in 2025. For now, the future of this potential fight remains quite certain. Both fighters have existing commitments, and the possibility of an agreement will hinge on several factors, including contract negotiations and strategic decisions from both teams. There aren't many fighters that have shared the ring with both Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. The only man to do so inside a professional ring was Amir Khan, suffering stoppage defeats to the pair, and he's already given his thoughts on how a potential Crawford versus Canelo matchup would go.
What do I think of that fight?
Yeah.
I think that, everybody knows that Crawford got the skills. I do think that Canelo's a little big for Crawford. It'll be a tall task for him.
There are a few more that have sparred the two men, though, and one of them has now given his take on how he thinks the fantasy clash could unfold. That man is middleweight contender Caron Davis, who even took on fellow Canelo rival David Benavidez back in November 2021. Having sparred both Bud and Canelo, Davis told Mill City Boxing that he thinks it would be extremely tough for Crawford and would back Alvarez to get the victory. He said that Canelo, of course, is a big guy, and it's going to be a lot. He believes Canelo can take a punch, so you're not going to hurt Canelo. He doesn't think Crawford can hurt him with one punch. Maybe he can cut an eye or something or bother him to the body.
It'll be a lot you have to. It'll be a lot to get that victory based on size alone. Not that size wins fights, but you got a guy that got size and skill. It'll be hard.
To him, Crawford has to get some flesh on gloves and go to the body, as it's going to be a tall task. Everyone knows Canelo can really fight. He has moves and traps. It's not easy. In boxing, nothing is impossible, but if he had to bet, he'd put money on Canelo. He corrected that he's not taking anything away from Crawford, but Canelo is great. He believes Canelo may be able to stop him, as he's a bigger guy and his one punch can do all the damage. As for Floyd Mayweather, we know little as to why he's demanding an exhibition fight from Terence Crawford.
To face Crawford. But you never know. You never know in boxing. I'll go up and down and fight.
But like Eddie Hearn pointed out when they met earlier this year, Floyd Mayweather mainly resorts to exhibitions when he's broke and running out of cash. Even when he denied it with Eddie Hearn, his recent call-out of Terence Crawford has raised several questions as to what exactly his real problem is. However, the world sits and waits for the reactions of Terence Crawford to all of these, and also waits for the fight that became a product of Crawford's pursuit of greatness, his fight against Canelo Alvarez. And that's all for now. For the very best updates on news, moments, news, and updates in the world of boxing, stay connected with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to turn on notifications to get notified when we drop quality contents like this. Until next time, peace out.